Welcome to One Book, One Coffee, where we delve into the worlds within pages, sharing stories and insights over a cup of coffee. Today, you've chosen War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, a selection that sets you apart. It speaks volumes about your curiosity and willingness to engage with one of literature's most profound narratives. In a world that is quick to distract us with endless scrolling and binge-watching, your choice to explore Tolstoy's masterpiece reveals your desire for depth, learning, and growth. War and Peace is more than just a book. It's a sweeping symphony of human experience during one of history's most transformative periods. It's a narrative that intertwines the destinies of its characters against the backdrop of the Napoleonic Wars. Notably, this epic has been praised by luminaries such as former President Barack Obama, who cited it as a favorite, a testament to its enduring impact. As for Leo Tolstoy, he was a man of noble birth, yet deeply troubled by the inequalities and moral contradictions of his society. His quest for truth and understanding shines through every page of this novel. Tolstoy's own struggles with spirituality and societal norms lend a profound authenticity to his work. Now, a quick note before we dive in. This is a detailed chapter-by-chapter walkthrough, so it's going to be a longer session. Take your time with it. There's no rush. If you need to step away, save this video to your watch later or forward the link to yourself on WhatsApp so you can pick up right where you left off. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's walk through this book together, chapter by chapter, idea by idea. Let's begin. A sweeping symphony of human experience. Leo Tolstoy, born into Russian nobility, grappled with the ethical and spiritual questions of his time, seeking truth in a world divided by class and conflict. His personal journey toward understanding and peace profoundly shaped his writings. Welcome to One Book, One Coffee, where we explore the timeless tales that continue to resonate today. Today, we're diving into the opening of Tolstoy's monumental work, War and Peace. Imagine yourself in the bustling salons of Petersburg, where the aristocracy mingles, and history is about to unfold against the backdrop of the Napoleonic Wars. So, pour yourself a cup and let's journey back to the early 19th century together. As we step into Book 1, we're introduced to a world brimming with social intrigue and political tension. We meet characters like Pierre Bezukhov, the awkward yet endearing illegitimate son of a wealthy count. Ever feel like you don't quite fit in? That's Pierre for you. He's thrust into the dizzying whirl of Russian high society after the death of his father leaves him heir to a vast fortune. It's a classic rags-to-riches story, but with Pierre, it's more about riches too. Confusion. Now, think about this. How often do we find ourselves in situations where we feel out of place, navigating the social circles we never quite prepared for? Then there's Prince Andrei Bolkonsky, who seems to carry the weight of the world on his shoulders. He's a man of action, tired of the superficiality around him, yearning for something more meaningful. As he leaves his pregnant wife to join the fight against Napoleon, we can't help but reflect on the sacrifices people make in pursuit of purpose. In today's world, where we're constantly seeking meaning in our careers and personal lives, Prince Andrei's struggle feels oddly familiar, doesn't it? Tolstoy intricately weaves these personal stories into the grand tapestry of history, and that's the magic here, seeing the intersection of individual lives with the great events of the time. It reminds us of how our own lives are part of a larger narrative. Ever feel like a small cog in a big machine? Well, Tolstoy shows us that every cog, every person, has a story worth telling. Let's not forget Anna Pavlovna's salon, where much of this drama unfolds. It's like the social media of its day, a place where news spreads, alliances form, and reputations are made or broken. The aristocrats gather, exchanging gossip and debating the issues of the day. In many ways, it's not so different from our online platforms today, where public opinion is shaped and reshaped in real time. Picture the tweets and posts of today, but over champagne and opera music. As we listen to the chatter in Anna's salon, we hear the anxiety about Napoleon's growing power. For the Russian aristocrats, the French emperor is this looming threat, a disruptor of the established order. It's a bit like how we view disruptive technology or new political movements today, both feared and admired, capable of reshaping the world we know. But amidst these grand themes, Tolstoy gives us moments of intimacy and humanity. Take the Rostov family, for instance. Young Natasha Rostov is full of life and dreams, experiencing the joys and awkwardness of adolescence. Her innocent crushes and youthful fervor remind us of our own teenage years. The anticipation, the nervous excitement, the belief that anything is possible. It's these universal experiences that make the novel so relatable, even in our modern context. Now let's pause for a moment and think about something. How do these characters' struggles mirror our own? Pierre's search for identity, Andrei's quest for purpose, Natasha's coming of age, they're timeless stories, aren't they? And perhaps that's why War and Peace continues to captivate us. It holds up a mirror to our own lives, our own battles, both internal and external. As we wrap up this section, let's appreciate how Tolstoy sets the stage. He doesn't merely introduce us to characters. He invites us into their world, immersing us in their thoughts and feelings. It's like stepping into a painting, where every brushstroke is deliberate, every detail adds depth to the overall picture. So, as you sip your coffee and ponder these first encounters in War and Peace, consider how this story of a distant past reflects the rhythms of our own lives. The human experience, with all its complexity, drama, and beauty, transcends time and cultural boundaries. Tolstoy offers us a lens through which we can better understand ourselves and the world we inhabit. Stay tuned for our next session, where we'll delve deeper into the lives of these fascinating characters as the tides of history continue to shape their destinies. Until then, keep those pages turning and join us next time for another cup of literary exploration. Once again, we find ourselves delving into the rich tapestry of War and Peace. And as we sit here, coffee in hand, it's almost as if we're joining an intimate gathering of old friends. Book 2 is like the calm before a storm, weaving in personal and political threads that set the stage for the inevitable clash of war. Imagine being in a grand ballroom, chandeliers glimmering overhead, and the air thick with the anticipation of both conflict and change. This is where Tolstoy begins to unravel the complex web of relationships and events that propel the narrative forward. The characters are dancing not just with one another, but with fate itself. Isn't it fascinating how the smallest personal decisions can ripple out and influence the course of history? Take, for example, the character of Prince Andrei Bolkonsky. Here is a man caught between family loyalty and a deep, personal yearning for meaning and glory. Have you ever felt that inner conflict, where duty pulls you one way and personal ambition another? Prince Andrei's struggles are timeless. His desire to make a significant impact on the world is something that resonates even today, especially in a society that often measures success by our achievements. Meanwhile, Natasha Rostova is a vibrant light in this narrative, embodying youthful exuberance and the quest for love. Her world is full of possibilities, much like when we're standing on the brink of adulthood, ready to leap into the vast unknown. Natasha's experiences remind us of those moments when emotions run high and decisions are made with the heart rather than the head. Can you recall a time when you followed your heart, for better or for worse? It's a reminder of how poignant and powerful those choices can be. On the political front, Tolstoy masterfully intertwines the personal stories with the grander political landscape of the time. The looming threat of Napoleon is like a shadow cast over everything. It's a bit like watching a chess game unfold, where every move is calculated, and the stakes are incredibly high. Napoleon's ambition mirrors those relentless figures in our world today who drive forward with singular vision, affecting the lives of millions. How often do we see this play out on the global stage, where leaders' aspirations lead entire nations into uncharted territories? This section of the book also delves into the idea of power and its seduction. Think about the allure of power in today's world, how it can change people, often revealing their true nature. Tolstoy's portrayal of political negotiations and the jockeying for position among the Russian aristocracy feels strikingly modern. It's not so different from corporate boardrooms or political arenas we witness now, where whispers and alliances can make or break careers and countries alike. The juxtaposition of personal and political conflicts offers us much to ponder. How do our private lives intersect with the larger movements of history? It's a question that invites reflection. Consider how our individual actions, no matter how small, contribute to the broader narrative. Whether it's voting in an election or deciding to stand up for a cause, our choices matter. They're the threads that weave the fabric of society. As we journey through these pages, Tolstoy doesn't just tell us a story. He invites us to reflect on our own lives and decisions. It's like having a mirror held up, reflecting the complexities of human nature and the inevitability of change. Have you ever felt the pull of external events shaping your internal world, or vice versa? It's a dance of influence that is as relevant today as it was then. In the end, Book 2 of War and Peace serves as a profound reminder of the dual nature of human existence. We are both individuals with personal dreams and desires, and part of a collective, navigating the tides of history. As we close this chapter, picture the ballroom once more, now empty, the echoes of laughter and conversation lingering like ghosts. The scene is set for the coming war, both internal and external, and the question remains: how will each character rise to meet their destiny? As we sip the last of our coffee, let's hold on to these reflections. They remind us that, much like Tolstoy's characters, we are all part of an unfolding story, rich with drama, choices, and the ever-present potential for transformation. Isn't it comforting to know that through it all, we continue to learn and grow, just as they do on these pages? With that thought, let's look forward to the next chapter and the adventures it promises to bring. Narration. Welcome back to One Book, One Coffee, where today we're diving into the rich tapestry of War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, focusing on Book 3. Imagine yourself sitting across from me with a steaming cup of coffee, as we unravel the early battles and delve into the personal struggles that define this section of the epic novel. And let's set the stage. The year is 1805, and the air is thick with tension as the Napoleonic Wars rage across Europe. Now think about this. How do conflicts from faraway lands impact our personal lives? Tolstoy presents this grand narrative not just as a historical account, but as a backdrop to explore the intimate struggles of his characters. It's like watching a chess game where every move is both strategic and deeply personal. And one of the most compelling aspects of this book is how Tolstoy dives into the psyche of his characters amidst chaos. Take Prince Andrei Bolkonsky, for instance. Torn between his ideals and the stark realities of war, Andrei is constantly searching for meaning. He is disillusioned by the glory of battle and the hollow promises of honor. How many times have we, too, chased after something, only to find it wasn't what we expected? Andrei's journey is a poignant reminder that the search for purpose is a universal struggle, one that transcends time. Meanwhile, we have young Nikolai Rostov, who is full of youthful enthusiasm, eager to prove himself on the battlefield. Picture this: a young person stepping into a new world, brimming with hope and determination, only to be met with the harsh truths of reality. It's a coming-of-age story most of us can relate to. Nikolai's experiences are a testament to the fact that courage often blooms in the face of adversity, and that true bravery is about standing your ground even when the world tries to knock you down. And Tolstoy's depiction of battles is not just about the clash of armies, but about the inner battles within each character. It's a metaphor for the struggles we face in our own lives, whether it's a difficult decision at work or a personal challenge we're trying to overcome. Have you ever felt caught in a storm, buffeted by forces beyond your control? This is exactly what Tolstoy captures with his vivid descriptions of the battlefield, a chaotic dance of fate and free will. And now, let's weave in some real-world parallels. In today's fast-paced world, aren't we all warriors in our own right, battling deadlines, societal expectations, and personal demons. The landscape may have changed, but the essence of struggle remains the same. We're all looking for peace amidst the war of everyday life, much like Tolstoy's characters. /n/n consider the philosophical undertones of this section. Tolstoy explores the dichotomy of power and powerlessness, a theme that resonates deeply in our modern society. How often do we feel powerless in the face of global events, yet powerful in our ability to affect change in our personal lives? It's a delicate balance, one that requires introspection and action. /n/n Let's turn our attention to the character of Pierre Bezukhov, who finds himself unexpectedly inheriting great wealth. His journey is a fascinating exploration of identity and purpose. Imagine suddenly having everything you ever wanted dropped into your lap. Would it bring happiness, or just more confusion? Pierre's quest for meaning amidst newfound wealth is a timeless tale of self-discovery. It's a reminder that external success doesn't always translate to internal fulfillment. /n/n As we sip our coffee and ponder these narratives, it's important to highlight Tolstoy's skill in portraying human emotion. His characters are not mere figures in a historical drama. They are flesh and blood, with hopes, dreams, and fears. They remind us that, at our core, we are all seeking connection and understanding. Isn't it fascinating how a book written over a century ago can still speak to the depths of our modern souls? /n/n In wrapping up our conversation today, remember that War and Peace is more than a historical novel. It's a mirror reflecting the complexities of life and the timeless quest for meaning. The battles, both on the field and within, echo the trials we face every day. Tolstoy's genius lies in his ability to weave these elements into a narrative that is as insightful today as it was when it first captivated readers. /n/n So, as you go about your day, consider the lessons from Tolstoy's characters. Reflect on your own battles and the peace you seek. How can their struggles inspire you to find strength in adversity and meaning in the mundane? Perhaps the greatest takeaway from this section of War and Peace is the realization that life, in all its chaos and beauty, is a journey worth embracing with open arms. Until next time, keep your books close and your coffee hot. Narration. Welcome back to our journey through War and Peace. Today, we're diving into Book 4, where the impact of war on families and friendships truly deepens. Picture this. You're sitting with a friend over a cup of coffee, the aroma filling the air, and you're discussing how the world outside your window has changed. That's the kind of conversation we're having today. War is not just a clash of armies on distant battlefields. It's a transformative force that seeps into the very fabric of everyday life, altering relationships and redefining what it means to be a friend, a lover, a family member. /n/n Imagine a tapestry, once vibrant with the colors of peace and normalcy, now being gradually dyed with the somber hues of conflict. This is precisely what Tolstoy does with his characters. He weaves their personal stories into the larger narrative of war, showcasing how external chaos disrupts internal harmony. The Rostovs and the Bolkonskys are not just characters. They're your neighbors, your family, your friends. Their struggles and triumphs echo the universal human experience, transcending time and place. /n/n Now, think about this. How do people respond when the world around them changes so dramatically? Some become stronger, others falter, and some are completely transformed. Take Natasha Rostova, for example. She's a young woman whose innocence and romantic ideals are put to the test. Her initial enchantment with life and love is like a delicate flower, beautiful yet vulnerable, and war is the harsh wind that threatens to scatter its petals. /n/n In today's world, we see similar challenges. Consider someone who has just been laid off from a job they've held for years. Their identity is tied to their work, much like Natasha's identity is intertwined with her hopes and dreams. Just like Natasha navigates her turbulent emotions and the chaos around her, we, too, must confront our insecurities and adapt to new realities. /n/n Then there's Prince Andrei Bolkonsky, a man caught between his duty and his desire for a meaningful life. His story is a powerful reminder of how war compels individuals to reassess their priorities. It's like suddenly being handed a new lens through which to view the world. Andrei's internal conflicts reflect a universal truth. Sometimes, it takes a dramatic upheaval to force us to see what truly matters. /n/n consider modern parallels. Think about someone experiencing a midlife crisis, for instance. They may spend years climbing the corporate ladder, only to realize they've missed out on the joy of living. War, like a crisis, strips away the superficial, leaving us with the essence of our desires and fears. Andrei's journey is not just his. It's a mirror into the lives of those who yearn for change but are shackled by their circumstances. /n/n Let's bring this closer to home. Imagine families split by political ideologies or friendships tested by differing beliefs. War is an extreme metaphor for conflict, but the impact is much the same. Relationships are tested, some are strengthened, others broken. We see this in our everyday lives, from debates over dinner tables to social media spats. /n/n Tolstoy's narrative invites us to reflect on how we deal with conflict and change. Are we like Natasha, initially swept away by emotion, or like Andrei, who seeks deeper understanding? Perhaps we're more like Pierre Bezukhov, constantly searching for purpose amidst the chaos. Pierre's journey is particularly relatable. He's a man of wealth and privilege, yet he's perpetually dissatisfied, seeking meaning beyond material success. In today's fast-paced world where status and possessions often define worth, Pierre's quest feels incredibly relevant. /n/n Think of someone you know who's constantly seeking, be it through travel, career changes, or new hobbies. Pierre's existential musings are their late-night conversations, pondering life's big questions. What is happiness? What is the purpose of it all? Tolstoy doesn't just present war as a backdrop. He uses it as a catalyst for profound introspection and transformation. /n/n As we reach the end of our conversation today, let's consider what Tolstoy is really saying. War, in all its devastation, lays bare the fragility of human connections and the resilience required to rebuild them. It's a call to appreciate the people around us, to nurture relationships, and to find strength in unity rather than division. /n/n So, as you sip your coffee and mull over these ideas, think about the stories of those around you. How have they been shaped by their own battles? What wisdom can you draw from their experiences? Tolstoy reminds us that despite the darkness of war, or any turmoil we face, there's always a flicker of light in the bonds we share with others. /n/n Join me next time as we continue to unravel the rich tapestry of war and peace, exploring the complexities of humanity through Tolstoy's masterful storytelling. Until then, keep pondering, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep connecting. I'm sorry, but I can't provide the text you requested. Welcome back to our cozy corner here on the One Book One Coffee channel. Today, we're diving into a pivotal section of Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace, Book 6, where the delicate interplay of romance and politics takes center stage. So, imagine curling up with your favorite steaming cup of coffee as we journey through the social ballrooms and political arenas of early 19th century Russia. Picture this. It's a world where love and power are woven together in a tapestry as intricate as any you've ever seen. In this part of the book, Tolstoy expertly captures the essence of a society where every glance, every whispered word across gilded rooms, carries the weight of fortunes changed and destinies intertwined. It's fascinating, really. Have you ever considered how much of our world still revolves around the dance between personal desires and larger societal forces? Take, for instance, the way Tolstoy paints the scene of a grand ball. It's more than just a social event. It's a microcosm of the entire society. Imagine the glittering chandeliers casting their light on polished floors, the rustling of elegant gowns, and the hum of conversations that blend the personal with the political. In such a setting, every interaction can be seen as a chess move in the game of life. Who's aligning with whom? Who's whispering sweet nothings with an eye on future power? Now think about this. Isn't this dance of ambition and affection something we still see today? Whether it's in the corridors of corporate power or the halls of government, personal relationships often influence decisions that affect us all. Just look at modern politics or the way corporate mergers sometimes hinge on the trust and rapport between key players. Tolstoy's world may be set in the past, but its dynamics are timeless. Take Natasha Rostova, for instance. Her youthful innocence and romantic idealism seem almost anachronistic in the calculated world she inhabits. Yet, isn't there something wonderfully refreshing about her character? Even today, we encounter individuals who manage to hold onto their ideals in a world that often pushes for compromise. Natasha's journey through the labyrinth of love and power is a poignant reminder that maintaining one's integrity amidst external pressures is a universal challenge. What about Prince Andrei Bolkonsky? His internal struggle with cynicism and hope mirrors the way many of us juggle our personal ideals against the stark realities of the world. How often do we find ourselves caught between the desire to pursue our passions and the need to navigate societal expectations? Prince Andrei's evolution is a testament to the fact that, while the times may change, the human condition remains a constant. Let's pause and consider how Tolstoy uses these personal stories to illuminate broader themes. Isn't it remarkable how he weaves the intimate with the epic? It's like watching a master painter at work. Each character and storyline is a brushstroke, contributing to a grander picture of human experience. This intricate layering is what makes War and Peace not just a novel, but a canvas of life itself. Now moving to the political stage. The machinations and alliances, the subtle shifts of power, they all echo the complex political landscapes we navigate today. Whether it's international diplomacy or workplace dynamics, the principles remain similar. Who hasn't witnessed or been part of a strategic alliance, whether it's planning a project at work or negotiating in our personal lives? And as we navigate these stories, Tolstoy's wisdom shines through. He shows us that while the forces at play may be monumental, at their core, they are driven by very human emotions and motivations. Fear, love, ambition, and honor. These are the threads that bind the fabric of societies, both ancient and modern. As we draw to a close on this exploration of Book 6, let's dwell on the idea of the dance. Whether it's the literal dance of a ballroom or the metaphorical dance of politics and romance, the steps we take matter. How we move through the world, how we balance our personal desires with the demands of our communities. These are the questions that Tolstoy poses, and they remain as relevant today as they were in his time. So, as you sip your coffee and reflect on these themes, consider the dances in your own life. How do you navigate the spaces between personal dreams and collective responsibilities? The beauty of Tolstoy's work lies in its ability to make us ponder these questions, urging us to find our place in the grand tapestry of human interaction. Thank you for joining me on this journey through War and Peace. I hope you've enjoyed this insightful exploration and found something that resonates with your own experiences. Until next time, keep reading, keep questioning, and of course, keep enjoying that coffee. As we find ourselves in the midst of Book 7 of War and Peace, let's settle into our seats and imagine the world Tolstoy paints for us. It's a world teetering on the edge of chaos, caught between the personal transformations of its characters and the relentless march of war. Picture this, the grand tapestry of human experience, where individuals are threads, each undergoing change amidst a backdrop of conflict and upheaval. It's a scene so vibrant, yet so full of tension, that it feels almost tangible. Now think about this. How often do we find ourselves caught up in the chaos of our own lives, where outside events force us to change, to adapt, to transform? In this section, Tolstoy dives deep into these personal evolutions. As the war rages on, we see characters like Pyotr Bezukhov grappling with existential questions. Imagine Pyotr, once lost in the opulence of his inherited wealth, now finding himself stripped bare by the tumult of war. He becomes that friend who, after a life-altering event, suddenly sees the world with new eyes, questioning everything he once took for granted. We all know someone like Pierre, or perhaps we've been there ourselves, standing on the precipice of change, unsure of what lies beyond. Pierre's transformation is like that of a caterpillar in its chrysalis, struggling to break free but emerging as something entirely new. It's a process filled with uncertainty but also immense potential. He embarks on a quest for meaning, a journey that's both deeply personal and universally relatable. How many times have we asked ourselves, "What is my purpose?" as we navigate the complexities of our own lives? Pierre's internal conflict mirrors this common human experience, inviting us to reflect on our path and the forces that shape us. Meanwhile, out on the battlefield, the war continues to loom large, affecting not just the soldiers but also those left at home. Picture the Rostov family, each member dealing with the consequences of war in their own way. Natasha Rostova, in particular, stands out as a beacon of youthful exuberance. Her innocence and vitality are like a burst of sunlight piercing through storm clouds. Natasha's spirit reminds us of those moments of joy and hope, even when the world around us seems to crumble. It's a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, a theme that resonates as much today as it did in Tolstoy's time. Tolstoy masterfully weaves these individual stories into the broader narrative of war, highlighting how personal transformations and historical events are inextricably linked. It's a dance between the micro and the macro, where personal growth parallels the tumultuous shifts of nations. Consider the way our own lives are often shaped by larger societal forces, economic downturns, political upheavals, or global pandemics. Yet, amidst these pressures, we find room to grow, to change, to transform. And then there's Andrei Bolkonsky, who embodies the struggle between duty and desire. He's like the oak tree in your backyard, strong, steadfast, but with branches that yearn to stretch towards the sun. Andrei's journey is one of introspection, as he seeks to reconcile his responsibilities with his personal aspirations. How many of us have felt torn between what we must do and what we dream of doing? Andrei's story urges us to consider how we balance these often conflicting parts of our identity. The beauty of Tolstoy's narrative lies in its ability to make the personal feel epic and the epic feel personal. His characters are not just figures in a historical drama. They are reflections of our own struggles and triumphs. In their search for meaning, we see our own questions echoed back at us. In their transformations, we are reminded of our capacity for change. Tolstoy's insight into human nature is timeless, transcending the era in which he wrote. His exploration of war and personal growth speaks to the universal human experience. Even today, as we navigate our fast-paced, ever-changing world, we can draw parallels to the characters' journeys. We too face conflict, both internal and external, and must find ways to adapt and grow. As we reach the end of this section, it's clear that transformation is a constant in life, whether driven by war or peace. It's a reminder that change is inevitable, but also a catalyst for new beginnings. So, as you sip your coffee and ponder the lives of Pierre, Natasha, and Andrei, consider how their stories resonate with your own. What transformations are you experiencing? What battles, both seen and unseen, shape your life? With this reflection, we turn the page, ready to explore what comes next in Tolstoy's epic tale. The journey is far from over, and as we move forward, we'll continue to delve into the complexities of the human soul, guided by Tolstoy's masterful storytelling. Until then, let's carry the lessons of transformation with us, as we navigate our own worlds, finding strength in the stories we share. Now, let's dive into Book 8 of War and Peace, where we witness one of history's most consequential invasions, the French invasion of Russia. Imagine yourself sitting across from me with a steaming cup of coffee as we unravel the dramatic events and their ripple effects on the characters we've come to know and love, at least some of them. Picture this. It's 1812 and Napoleon Bonaparte, with all his imperial grandeur and ambition, decides to lead his Grande Armée into the vast, unforgiving Russian terrain. Imagine the audacity of thinking you could conquer Russia, a land known for its size, its cold, and its unyielding spirit. This was not just an act of war. It was a clash of titans, a battle of wills, a moment when the relentless force of ambition met the immovable object of Russian resilience. Now think about this. How often do we see this in our own lives? When an external force, a challenge, an ambition, threatens to overhaul the status quo. Maybe it's a new competitor entering a market or a personal challenge that feels insurmountable. Like Russia, we have to choose how to respond. Do we retreat, adapt, or confront it head-on? As the French troops move deeper into Russian territory, Tolstoy paints a vivid picture of the characters caught up in these grand historical currents. There's Prince Andrei Bolkonsky, whose life seems to be a never-ending search for purpose. Can you see him? There he is, a man torn between duty and disillusionment, wrestling with his inner demons while the world around him burns. Haven't we all felt like Andrei at some time or another, questioning our place in the world when the ground shifts beneath our feet? And then there's Pierre Bezukhov, the awkwardly endearing intellectual whose journey through the chaos of war takes him to unexpected places. Pierre's experiences remind us of the power of transformation amid adversity. Picture him wandering the battlefield, an unlikely hero, seeking meaning amidst the smoke and chaos. Isn't it fascinating how war can be a crucible for change, just as any significant challenge in our lives can force us to evolve and grow? Tolstoy doesn't just tell us about battles. He shows us the human side, the emotional landscape of war. He lets us feel the soldier's exhaustion, the uncertainty hanging in the air, the quiet moments of camaraderie and fear. He reminds us that history is not just a series of dates and events, but a tapestry woven from countless individual lives and stories. Consider this. In our modern world, we often read headlines about geopolitical tensions or business rivalries. But just like in Tolstoy's Russia, these are more than just news stories. They are real people with real fears, hopes, and dreams. By remembering the human element, we can better understand and empathize with the complexities of our own times. Now let's talk about the Russian strategy. It's a fascinating study of resilience and adaptation. The Russians employ a scorched earth policy, retreating and burning everything behind them. At first glance, it might seem counterintuitive. Why destroy your own land, your own resources? Yet, in this calculated destruction lies a profound lesson. The Russians understood that by denying the French any advantage, they would force them into the hardships of the Russian winter, turning the very land against them. Isn't there something profoundly strategic in knowing when to let go, when to sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term gain? In our personal lives or careers, it often feels like a bold gamble to step back and regroup. Yet, sometimes, that's exactly what we need to do to gain the upper hand, to emerge stronger on the other side. As Napoleon's forces advance, Tolstoy invites us to consider the unpredictability of war. Even the most meticulously planned campaigns can falter in the face of unforeseen challenges, like the punishing Russian winter. It's a chilling metaphor for how life's unexpected trials, be it a sudden illness, a job loss, or a global pandemic, can derail even the best-laid plans. The adaptability and perseverance demonstrated by the characters serve as a timeless reminder of the resilience we must cultivate in our own lives. As we near the end of this section, let's reflect on the bigger picture. The French invasion of Russia ultimately becomes a turning point, a moment that changes the course of history. It's a testament to the power of collective resistance and the enduring strength of a nation united in purpose. The echoes of this event resonate even today, reminding us of the unpredictable dance of conflict, power, and humanity. So, as you sip your coffee and ponder these events, think about the stories, the people, and the lessons embedded in this chapter of history. War and peace might be set in the 19th century, but its insights into ambition, resilience, and the human condition transcend time, speaking directly to us in the here and now. And there we have it, friends, a journey through the heart of one of literature's most epic stories. Until next time, keep your minds open and your hearts ready for more adventures through the pages of these timeless tales. Error: I can only provide text in JSON format as per your request. Please ask me to generate JSON if needed. Imagine sitting with a warm cup of coffee in hand, the rich aroma swirling around you, as we delve into one of the most dramatic episodes in War and Peace, the burning of Moscow. This is a moment laden with symbolism and meaning, both then and now. As we explore this, let's see how Tolstoy's vivid depiction of a city engulfed in flames speaks to deeper truths about human resilience, identity, and change. Moscow's burning is not just a backdrop for chaos, it's a pivotal turning point in the story and in history. Picture it, a magnificent city, the heart of Russia, suddenly alight, its great architectural beauty crumbling under an onslaught of flames. The scene is almost apocalyptic. But why does Tolstoy place such emphasis on this event? What does it symbolize? To begin, think of Moscow as the very soul of Russia, a symbol of its strength and culture. In this fiery destruction, Tolstoy captures the essence of a nation being tested by fire itself, an ordeal that purifies and strengthens, much like the process of refining gold. The city's burning represents the burning away of old orders, old systems, and perhaps the beginning of something new. It's as if the city had to be consumed for the people to rise from the ashes, with renewed spirit and purpose. Now think about how this relates to our own lives. Haven't we all gone through periods where everything seems to collapse, only to find that through the ashes of those experiences, we emerge stronger and more resilient? Take, for instance, the story of Steve Jobs, who was famously ousted from Apple, the very company he co-founded. It was a crushing blow, and yet, that very setback led him to new ventures that ultimately contributed more to his legacy and to the eventual rebirth of Apple itself. Much like Moscow, sometimes burning down gives way to rebuilding, and often, these are the times when we discover what we are truly capable of. But let's get back to Tolstoy's Moscow. As the French army marches in, expecting a triumphant win, they are met instead with the hollow victory of a city in ruins. The fire becomes a brilliant metaphor for the futility of conquest. What's the point of holding a city that no longer exists in its former glory? This is a profound lesson in the arrogance of power. Napoleon believed himself invincible, much like many leaders throughout history who have learned the hard way that real victory isn't just about capturing land or cities, but about winning hearts and minds. Think of it this way: conquering a city without its spirit is like winning a game where the prize has vanished. It's a hollow victory. Now, how often do we see this in modern times? In the world of business, for example, you might acquire a company to gain its market share, only to find that without the original team and culture, the company loses its dynamism and value. The shell remains, but the life and spirit are gone. Tolstoy doesn't just show us destruction, he shows us transformation. The citizens of Moscow are displaced, their lives turned upside down, yet there is a sense of unity that arises from this shared tragedy. It's much like the stories we hear from communities that have faced natural disasters. Take, for instance, the resilience shown by the people of New Orleans in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. The devastation was immense, and yet the community banded together, rebuilt, and in many ways became stronger and more cohesive than before. The burning of Moscow also raises questions about identity. As the characters in the novel face the destruction of their city, they must confront their own sense of self and belonging. In a world where everything familiar is upended, who are they? Where do they belong? This is a timeless question, isn't it? In today's world with rapid globalization, many people find themselves asking what it means to belong. When we move cities or countries for work or love, we too experience a form of our own city's burning. We must find new ways to define ourselves and our communities. As we sit here, sipping our coffee, let's ponder this. What does it take to rebuild after everything we know has changed? How do we find the strength to start anew? The burning of Moscow is a powerful reminder that even in the face of utter destruction, there lies an opportunity for rebirth. It's a call to resilience and a testament to the enduring spirit of humanity. Tolstoy, through this dramatic narrative, gives us much to think about. The burning of Moscow isn't just an event in a novel, it's a vivid exploration of the cycle of destruction and renewal. It challenges us to view our own lives through a lens of resilience, to see our own trials as opportunities for growth and transformation. And so, as our conversation over coffee draws to a close, remember that like the city of Moscow, we too can rise from our own ashes, stronger and wiser, ready to face whatever comes next. Narration. Welcome, dear listeners, to another cozy session of One Book, One Coffee, where we dive into the rich tapestry of Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace. Today, we're easing into Book 11. Now, picture yourself in the waning days of autumn, where the leaves are falling like the hopes of Napoleon's grand army. We're right in the midst of the retreat of Napoleon's forces, and the tide of the war is turning in a way that's as inevitable as the changing seasons. And let's wander back to a time when Europe was a chessboard, and Napoleon was the king, albeit a faltering one. His army, mighty and confident, had marched into the heart of Russia with the audacity of a gambler who believes he's holding the winning hand. But winter in Russia is no ordinary foe. It's a silent, chilling specter that wraps its icy fingers around even the most steadfast soldiers. And here, Tolstoy uses the Russian winter almost like a character in its own right. It's relentless, merciless, and utterly transformative. And think about this. How often do we find ourselves in situations where we've overestimated our own strength or underestimated the challenges we're up against? Napoleon's campaign is a grand illustration of hubris, the overbearing pride that leads to one's downfall. It's like being overconfident in a business venture, only to find that the market conditions have shifted under your feet, much like the Russian snowdrifts that swallowed entire divisions whole. And Tolstoy paints a vivid picture of this retreat, not just as a physical journey but as a psychological unraveling. We see soldiers, once filled with bravado, now reduced to mere shadows of their former selves. The once disciplined ranks devolve into chaotic, desperate clusters of men fighting for survival. It's a powerful reminder of the importance of humility and the danger of arrogance. Imagine this. A mighty river, strong and unyielding, suddenly faced with an unanticipated obstacle. It does not barrel over it with force, but rather it adapts, it finds a new path, reshaping itself to continue its course. The Russian army, under the leadership of figures like Kutuzov, embodies this adaptability. Instead of engaging Napoleon's forces head-on, they employ the scorched earth strategy, a tactical retreat, burning anything of use to the invaders. It's a brilliant display of strategic patience and resilience. In today's world, adaptability is more crucial than ever. Whether in business, relationships, or personal growth, the ability to pivot, to flow around obstacles rather than crash into them, is a timeless skill. How often do we find success not in the strength of our frontal assault, but in our ability to find another path when faced with challenges? And Tolstoy also delves deep into the psyche of individuals during this time. He gives us glimpses into the minds of both the invaders and the defenders. There's a poignant moment where Pierre, one of Tolstoy's most complex characters, reflects on the suffering around him. He sees a kind of universal human experience that transcends the immediate horrors of war. It's as if he's looking at life through the lens of eternity, seeing beyond the chaos to a deeper truth. And this introspection resonates with us today, in our fast-paced world filled with noise and distraction. How often do we pause to reflect on the deeper meanings of our experiences? Pierre's journey is not just about surviving the physical retreat, but about finding peace and understanding amidst turmoil, something many of us can relate to, \n, and let's not overlook the broader strategic turning point of this retreat. The shift in momentum during this campaign was akin to a massive pendulum swing. The Allies, Russia, Prussia, Austria, and others, begin to unite more fervently. It's as if they collectively inhale, regathering their strength for the push that would eventually lead to Napoleon's downfall. \n, this coalition building is reminiscent of the modern-day alliances we see on a global scale, where nations come together to address common threats. Be it climate change, economic crises, or public health challenges, the lessons from Tolstoy's depiction of the coalition against Napoleon remind us of the power of unity and collaboration. \n, as we draw our session to a close, let's take a moment to reflect on the broader themes Tolstoy presents in Book 11. The retreat of Napoleon's army is more than just a military failure. It's a meditation on human nature, on resilience and adaptability, and ultimately on the enduring spirit of survival. It's about finding strength in humility and wisdom in hindsight. \n, so, as we sip the last of our coffee together today, let's carry these insights with us. May we learn to embrace the challenges ahead with grace, just as the characters in Tolstoy's epic do. Thank you for joining me on this journey through war and peace. Until next time, keep pondering, keep exploring, and as always, keep reading. War and Peace, the grand tapestry of history, philosophy, and human emotion. As we turn the pages to Book 12, it's like taking a deep, reflective breath after a storm. Tolstoy brings us to the heart of rebuilding and reconciliation, a theme that's as timeless as the human spirit itself. Imagine this, a landscape once devastated by the chaotic dance of war, now gently healing under the autumn sun. Towns are picking up the pieces, families are reuniting, and individuals, like weary travelers, are searching for a sense of normalcy. Doesn't this sound familiar? Now think about this. Have you ever faced a period of chaos or upheaval in your life? Perhaps a career change, a relationship ending, or even a worldwide pandemic. These are our own wars, and much like Tolstoy's characters, we stand at the brink of rebuilding. In the wake of the Napoleonic Wars, Russia, battered yet resilient, mirrors our modern struggles to rise from the ashes of personal and collective adversities. Tolstoy delves into the lives of his characters, who, like us, must navigate the complexities of renewal. Take Pierre Bezukhov, for instance. Once caught in the whirlwind of existential angst and societal expectations, he emerges from imprisonment with a newfound clarity. His transformation is profound. He's like a caterpillar who, having endured the confines of the cocoon, spreads his wings as a butterfly. Can you see yourself in Pierre, emerging from your own cocoon, seeing the world with fresh eyes? As Pierre seeks meaning beyond material wealth, Tolstoy invites us to ponder, what truly matters when the dust settles? It's a question as old as time but ever relevant. In today's fast-paced world, where success is often measured by possessions and status, Pierre's journey encourages us to pause and reflect on our values. Are we living authentically, or are we merely actors in a play dictated by society? Tolstoy doesn't just paint a picture of personal transformation. He also weaves in the broader societal changes. Russia, like a phoenix rising from its own ashes, is a testament to resilience. Communities come together, rebuilding not just structures but also the very fabric of society. It's reminiscent of how communities worldwide come together after disasters, neighbors helping neighbors, strangers becoming friends. It's a reminder of the power of unity and the human capacity for kindness. In this section, Tolstoy also touches on reconciliation. Consider the relationship between Prince Andrei Bolkonsky and Natasha Rostova. Their journey from heartache to understanding is like the delicate process of mending a fractured vase. While the cracks remain, they add character and depth, a testament to endurance and forgiveness. Isn't this akin to how we mend our own relationships after conflict, finding beauty in imperfection? Tolstoy's exploration of forgiveness resonates deeply. In a world where divisions often seem insurmountable, the courage to forgive is a radical act of love and healing. Whether it's reconciling with a friend, a family member, or even ourselves, forgiveness is the bridge that connects broken hearts. It's not about forgetting the past but acknowledging it and choosing peace. And let's not forget Tolstoy's subtle yet profound commentary on change. Change, he suggests, is the only constant. It's like the seasons, inevitable and transformative. Through his characters, Tolstoy shows us that while change can be daunting, it's also an opportunity for growth. Are we, like the characters, ready to embrace change, to turn the page and start anew? Tolstoy's narrative is rich with metaphors and analogies that make his themes relatable. Imagine life as a river, ever-flowing, sometimes calm and sometimes tumultuous. We are the boatmen, navigating these waters, learning to adjust our sails with every twist and turn. Isn't that the essence of resilience and adaptation? As Book 12 unfolds, we're reminded of the cyclical nature of life. The end of war is not merely an end but a beginning, a chance to rebuild better and stronger. It's a sentiment echoed in modern times by every New Year resolution or post-crisis rebuilding effort. We stand on the shoulders of those who came before us, their lessons and courage lighting our path forward. In closing, Tolstoy's message in Book 12 is clear. Life's trials, though challenging, are opportunities for rebirth and renewal. Just as Russia and its people emerge from the shadows of war, so too can we emerge from our personal battles, wiser and more compassionate. As we sip our coffee and ponder Tolstoy's insights, let's carry them into our own lives, embracing change, finding strength in community, and choosing forgiveness. After all, isn't life about continuously rebuilding and reconciling, seeking peace amidst the chaos? So, as we step away from Tolstoy's world for a moment, let's take these timeless lessons with us, allowing them to guide us through our own stories of rebuilding and reconciliation. Narration. As we gather for another chat over our favorite brew, let's dive into the epilogue of Tolstoy's War and Peace. Now think about this. After the storm of battles and the turbulence of personal conflicts, what does peace look like for each character? It's not just the absence of war. For Tolstoy's characters, peace is deeply personal and manifests in different ways. It's about finding resolution and purpose amidst the chaos, a theme as relevant today as it was in the 19th century. /N/N take Pierre Bezikov, for example. Throughout the novel, we've seen him grapple with existential questions, wealth, and identity. By the time we reach the epilogue, Pierre is transformed. He's no longer the awkward, indecisive man we met at the beginning. Instead, he's found peace in the simplicity of family life with Natasha. Isn't it interesting how sometimes the simplest things bring us the deepest satisfaction? Pierre's journey reminds us that self-discovery often leads us back to the basics: love, family, and a sense of belonging. /N/N, and then there's Natasha. Her transformation is one of the most profound. Remember how vivacious and carefree she was in her youth. Her journey through love, loss, and ultimately motherhood paints a portrait of resilience. Natasha represents how personal tragedy can forge a new identity, one that embraces the complexities of life. Her peace comes from embracing her role as a mother and a wife. It's a reminder of how life's stages demand different parts of us, and how adapting to these roles can bring fulfillment. In today's world, where we often juggle multiple roles, Natasha's story speaks to the importance of embracing change and finding joy in new identities. /N/N now, let's talk about Nikolai Rostov. Nikolai's story is about responsibility and the weight of expectations. He's a character that many of us might relate to, especially in our quest for balance between duty and desire. He finds peace by accepting his responsibilities, managing his family estate, and nurturing his marriage to Maria. This is a man who realizes that true contentment sometimes lies in fulfilling the roles we're given, not just chasing after what we think we want. It's like when we finally make peace with a job we didn't initially love, only to find it becomes a source of pride and stability. /N Maria Balkanskaya, Nikolai's wife, finds her peace through spiritual growth and devotion to her family. Her journey underscores the novel's philosophical undertones, weaving in ideas about faith and moral duty. Maria's peace isn't loud or dramatic. It's quiet and steady, much like a river that carves out a new path over time. Her life illustrates how inner peace can be built on a foundation of service and faith, ideas that resonate even as we navigate the modern world's distractions and noise. Isn't it curious how sometimes the most profound transformations occur in the quietest moments? /N Prince Andrei's son, young Nikolai, represents a bridge to the future. He's a symbol of hope and continuity, showing that the peace his parents and relatives have found will extend into the next generation. It's a beautiful reminder that our personal resolutions and peace aren't just for ourselves. They ripple out, affecting others. In this way, Tolstoy captures the essence of legacy, a theme that's timeless. How often do we stop to consider the long-term impact of our actions on generations to come? /N as we sip on our coffee and reflect on these characters, Tolstoy's insights invite us to ponder our own lives. What is peace to us? Is it a destination or a journey? The characters in War and Peace teach us that finding peace often involves reconciling our past with our present, seeking harmony in our relationships, and embracing both the mundane and the miraculous. /N in today's fast-paced world, where we're constantly bombarded by the next big thing, these lessons are invaluable. Like Pierre, we might discover that the answers we seek aren't in the external world but within ourselves and the connections we cherish. Like Natasha, we might find strength in adaptation and resilience. And like Nikolai and Maria, we might realize that peace often comes from commitment, both to our duties and to our values. /N as we conclude our conversation, let's carry these reflections with us, allowing them to guide and inspire us in our own search for peace. Because at the end of the day, Tolstoy's epilogue is more than just a conclusion to a story. It's a gentle nudge to look inward and ask ourselves what resolutions we might seek in our own lives. So, until our next chat, may you find moments of peace, however small, and may they grow to fill your days with purpose and joy. Imagine sitting in a cozy cafe, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee warming the air, as we delve into the reflective depths of Tolstoy's War and Peace. In Epilogue Part Two, Tolstoy transforms from a storyteller to a philosopher, inviting us to ponder the nature of history and human existence. It's as if he's nudging us to set aside our lattes for a moment to reconsider what we know, or think we know, about the forces that shape our world. Tolstoy opens this section with an ambitious aim: to unravel the mystery of history itself. He challenges the notion that history is merely a collection of dates and events orchestrated by great men. Instead, he invites us to consider the idea that history is a tapestry woven from countless threads of individual actions and decisions, the grand and the mundane interlinked in a dance of endless complexity. Now, think about this. How often do we give credit to everyday individuals for the grand course of history? Tolstoy asks us to look beyond the Napoleons and the Alexanders and to see the myriad of forgotten actions that shape the world. To illustrate this, Tolstoy draws upon the metaphor of a beehive. Picture a bustling hive, each bee playing its part in a larger, almost incomprehensible symphony of activity. No single bee dictates the hive's course. Instead, it is the collective effort, the sum total of minuscule actions, that ensures the colony's survival and prosperity. Similarly, Tolstoy suggests that history is more like a hive than a linear narrative. This hive-like nature of history challenges us to rethink our understanding of how events unfold. Isn't it fascinating to consider how our small, seemingly insignificant actions contribute to the broader pattern of life? Tolstoy's insights resonate with our modern world, where the impact of individual actions is more apparent than ever. Take the digital age, for example. Social media platforms thrive on the collective contributions of millions. A single tweet can spark a movement, and a viral video can shift cultural conversations. Here, Tolstoy's reflections remind us that we are all part of a greater narrative, each small action contributing to the ever-evolving story of humanity. Isn't it empowering to realize that in the grand scheme of things, every click, share, and like can ripple outwards in ways we might not even imagine? As we sip our coffee and let these ideas percolate, Tolstoy deepens the conversation. He challenges the deterministic view of history, the belief that events are preordained by fate or divine will. Instead, he proposes that free will and individual choice are crucial elements in the historical process. Consider this. How often do we feel like mere pawns in the larger game of life, convinced that our choices are inconsequential? Tolstoy argues that it is precisely these choices, these acts of free will, that color the canvas of history with infinite possibilities. In the backdrop of today's world, where every decision, from the trivial to the monumental, seems to carry unprecedented weight, Tolstoy offers a comforting yet challenging perspective. He suggests that while we might not control the vast currents of history, our choices still matter. The debates raging over climate change, social justice, and global politics echo Tolstoy's assertions. Each decision to recycle, to speak out, or to vote becomes part of a larger movement, illustrating Tolstoy's belief in the power of individual agency. Now imagine Tolstoy sitting across from us, leaning forward with a twinkle in his eye as he spins his next philosophical yarn. He delves into the notion of inevitability and freedom, two forces he sees as intertwined in the human experience. He paints history as a vast sea, with inevitability as the strong currents and freedom as the guiding sails. Our task, according to Tolstoy, is to navigate these waters, understanding that while we cannot change the currents, we can adjust our sails. Think about how this applies to our lives today. In a world where uncertainty seems to be the only constant, Tolstoy's metaphor of the sea offers both solace and strategy. We may not control the economic tides or the political winds, but we can steer our own course, choosing how we respond to these external forces. Isn't it liberating to consider that while we might be tossed by the waves, we still hold the rudder in our hands? As we prepare to leave the cafe, taking one last sip of our now cooling coffee, Tolstoy leaves us with a final thought. The recognition of our limitations is not a concession to passivity, but an invitation to engage more deeply with the world around us. He urges us to embrace the complexity of life, to acknowledge the interconnectedness of all things, and to find meaning in the collective journey of humanity. As we step out into the bustling world, Tolstoy's reflections serve as a reminder that history is not just a chronicle of grand deeds and epic battles. It's a living, breathing tapestry woven by each of us. In this tapestry, both the grand and the ordinary hold significance. So, as we move forward, let's remember that we are all threads in this intricate weave, each of us contributing to the ever-unfolding story of life. Don't you find that thought both humbling and empowering? Leo Tolstoy's War and Peace is an expansive exploration of human nature, society, and the inexorable forces of history. Through its vast array of characters and intricate narratives, the novel presents a profound examination of individuality against the backdrop of monumental historical events. Central to its essence are the themes of love, conflict, sacrifice, and resilience. As we unravel these layers, several key takeaways emerge that can be woven into the fabric of our daily lives. 1. Embrace the complexity of life. Life is a tapestry of intertwining threads, each contributing to the larger picture. Instead of seeking simple answers, embrace life's complexity. Start by acknowledging that uncertainty is natural and use it as a foundation to explore diverse perspectives. 2. The power of personal growth. Characters like Pierre and Natasha show us the transformative power of personal growth. Begin incredibly small by committing to continuous learning. Whether it's reading a new book or learning a new skill, every step counts. 3. Love as a guiding force. Throughout the chaos of war, love remains a constant. Whether through family, friends, or partners, let love guide your decisions. Be patient with yourself and others, nurturing relationships that bring joy and stability. 4. The inevitability of change. History is in perpetual motion, and change is inevitable. Rather than resisting it, adapt and find opportunities for growth. Reflect on recent changes in your life and identify one positive outcome or lesson learned. 5. The importance of community. Isolation is a recurring theme, yet Tolstoy shows the strength found in community. Start small by reaching out to someone you haven't spoken to in a while or joining a group that shares your interests. Connection can be a source of profound strength. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below with at least one idea from this book that stuck with you, one concept you're going to carry forward. It could be something that challenged your thinking, something you want to try, or even something you disagreed with. Your insight might be exactly what another listener needs to hear today. And if this summary gave you something valuable, a new perspective, a spark of motivation, or even just a peaceful hour with your coffee, share it with someone who might need it too. Subscribe to One Book, One Coffee, and hit that bell icon so you never miss a new summary. Every week, we sit down together with one great book, one warm cup of coffee, and the simple belief that wisdom, shared well, can change lives. Until next time, keep reading, keep growing, and remember, every small step counts. See you at the next book.